that when I was a fresh 18-year-old out of high school, like traveling alone for the very first time. Like,
in terms of organizations out there, what are some organizations that people can go to for like mental health issues or anything like that?
Recently, I started a series on my Common magazine that basically it's a platform for people to talk about their mental ill health. But then kind of at the end, we always attach a message that kind of gives you suggestions on like who you can contact, that kind of thing. So our first suggestion is always Headspace, which also specializes in young people as well. So Headspace is really good. Black Dog Institute's really good as well. Even reachout.com. I really like Reach Out because it's not just for people who have like a mental health diagnosis. They can be things like even if you're feeling stressed, you can come to this website. How can you calm yourself down? How do you meditate? That kind of thing. Whereas like a Headspace and Black Dog Institute are kind of more for people who kind of know they have a diagnosis. They know they have these symptoms and like how you can combat it. That kind of thing.
Okay, so what are some of the ways you de-stress?
So I really, really like nature. So for me, the best way to de-stress is to go hiking. And I really like just turning my phone off as well. Just going for a long walk without a phone. And just feeling like it sounds so corny, but it's just like you and like beautiful nature and like really sublime views. I really, really enjoy that. For me, it makes me feel really alive, and it kind of makes me feel, well, like all my worries and all my stress have been very kind of minuscule compared to, something like this. Yeah.
All right, okay. Sounds like you're very in tune with nature. And you also mentioned you got involved with Condom magazine.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
How did you get involved with them?
So they were doing like a call out for new writers. It was June last year, and you kind of and like to write to them, you kind of had to say a few of your ideas. And for me, because I had been passionate about mental health for so long, I really wanted to create a platform for people to talk a little bit more about mental health. So that was kind of what I pitched to her. Okay. And then she was like, wow, I completely agree. Like I don't really hear this kind of thing. So yeah, so then that happened, and I would say like so I've been writing for them for about a year now, and I would say it's probably like the most joyful thing in my life. Yeah. Right. Yeah, it means a lot to me to kind of be able to have a platform that is so free for me to kind of write anything that I want as well. Like I have so much appreciation for our editor, and she also just puts a lot of trust in us to kind of find our own kind of avenue as well. And so she knows what I'm passionate about, and she allows me to kind of explore that. So I am very, very grateful for the whole magazine. I have a lot of awesome stories, but one of the most recent ones that got like a really good traffic was one on Braille music. And so, right. Yeah, and so I had never heard of anything like it before, but like when I was interviewing them, I was like, how did I not hear about this before? So what they do is, so this is part of Vision Australia, and what Braille music does is they look at a normal musical score, and then they kind of transcribe it into Braille, and then so the blind performer will be able to kind of they'll touch through like the whole piece and be able to play it. Yeah, and there's actually like a pretty big market for that as well. I know every year there's even like a Braille music camp as well down in the Southern Highlands. And they've been doing it for I think like 20 years or something like that, and I just thought how is it that like nobody has ever heard of this before? Yeah,
so they've actually got Braille for like music notes.
Yeah,
and then you can actually figure out which music note relates to
exactly, and they told me it's different to like a normal writing Braille as well. For us it looks similar, but it's like a completely different system for them. So, and I know like what it looks like is different. So for example, I know the first bit of every line, it's the time signature, and then they'll tell you like which octave to play in, and then they'll tell you the note values and the notes, that kind of thing. So everything kind of just becomes like really long line. But it's really, really amazing to watch.
Have you ever seen, by any chance, a Braille performance? Or I imagine it would be quite fun to watch.
Yeah, it would be. No, I haven't actually. I really, really want to, though.
Maybe one day if you go down to the Southern Highlands.
Yeah, exactly. And I've been in contact with Vision Australia about it. So yeah, it's really, really inspiring as well. And like I interviewed two ladies at Vision Australia for it, and one of them is actually a blind singer as well.
Right.
Yeah. And so we ended up like featuring her for an interview as well. So she sings with the Sydney Chamber Choir as well. Yeah, really, really amazing what she does.
Where do you see yourself in about 5 years' time?
Look, in 5 years' time, I would love to kind of continue what I do with music and mental health, but also community music as well. So I don't know if that's like an adequate answer, but it's like I just feel very blessed to be able to do what I do right now. So I would love to just like continue doing this. But although like for me, like my sense of adventure is kind of saying like do it in like another country. So I am like I've thought a lot about like moving to another country and doing it as well. But we'll see.
Okay, have you thought about which countries might be on your list? Or?
I really love Latin America.
Okay. No, they have such a strong music culture over there. They have like great rhythms.
They do. Dances. They really, really do. Like for me, I just love everything about Latin America. I love the fact that there's like music everywhere, and like when there's music, like people get up and dance as well. And just how friendly people are. Like music is really something that connects people together in Latin America, and it's just like everywhere in people's lives as well. Whereas for us, like if someone like played music really loudly on the bus, they would get death stares.
Yeah, probably yes.
So it's just like it's a completely different culture, but I love that. I just love the fact that music is everywhere. You can do both community music and also music with mental health in somewhere like Latin America as well, because obviously the community music part is really important, because poverty is still a huge issue, and not just poverty, like unemployment, and even things like addiction is a big thing as well. And so music can help in all those issues that I talked about, because it helps you, it empowers you, it kind of gives you control over your life, that kind of thing. And then with the music and mental health part, mental health it's actually very prevalent in Latin America, but also for them, it's even less likely for them to kind of seek help. So I would just love to encourage musicians over there as well to talk about it. I cannot just do music. I cannot just do psychology, that kind of thing. I just really, really wanted to combine both of them. So I was like, I'll try and make it work somehow. And then I just had to have countless meetings with the head of faculty of 3 different faculties, trying to make it work.
The psychology and the admin.
Exactly. So no, it didn't really work, but I wish people kind of had more flexibility, because something that I do really, really believe in is that a lot of musicians kind of throw themselves into music, and that's it. Music is their whole life. They practice 7 hours a day, and there's nothing else in their lives. And I'm a really, really big advocate for having other aspects of your life, whether that's social life, whether that's sports, whether that's like a reading, just something else that you're kind of passionate about. I don't want to say just in case, but it's just so you're kind of more like a 3-dimensional person, and you can talk to kind of more people, and you can meet people from different walks of life a lot easier than if you say, oh yeah, I am just a musician.
It kind of surprises me as well that music and psychology doesn't have that much of a crossover. I would imagine like music therapy is a big thing.
Yeah.
Or a growing field.
Yeah, exactly. Me too. Yeah, just, I mean, like, it's something that is kind of, something that has a lot of attention is kind of on the neuroscience side of things. And so there are a lot of researchers in the UK that do that look into, okay, so when you're in the process of music making or music listening, like what parts of your brain light up, that kind of thing. But like for me, I'm not really a researcher. I prefer kind of like doing stuff. So I kind of wish there was more like practical side of but let's like actually bring music out. But there's just not much into it.
Yeah, no, it sounds like a very emerging field for quite a simple idea that could really have really good benefits.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
So yeah, maybe you could start an organization.
Yeah.
The musical therapy.
Yeah.
Not-for-profit organization.
I would love to. Yeah.
I feel like you'd be very suited for that.
If GPs and doctors would actually refer to music therapists as like a complementary treatment, that would be like my dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess like they really have to also rely on like the science part of it, so they're waiting for the neuroscience to sort of catch up, and that field might like keep going.
Definitely. And like you need to kind of see enough like projects that have benefited as well. And like I think for us in Australia, I guess there just hasn't been a lot of community music projects, and so it's hard for people to see the benefits of music, because it is still very much like music is that, and that is it. So I just kind of wish there was like more to do with like community and like a well-being and health, that kind of thing.
I don't know if I'm stepping out of line here in terms of like my knowledge of music, but I feel like the Aboriginals, they have their own form of music, and it's very community based.
Yeah, definitely.
And they use their own instruments in a way that's very unique.
Definitely, and it's funny. It's very ironic. I mean, we talk about how advanced we are, that kind of thing, and like living in the Western world and whatnot. But like traditionally, and like back in the primal times, like music was a part of like everybody's lives as well. It was it's something that accompanied like everyone's like rites of passages, for example, and it's a way to for communities to like communicate with each other as well. And it's also it is like it's a universal language as well. And so it's actually only been really, really recently that we've had the idea of, oh no, music is played in a concert hall and people go there and like be quiet and to just listen to music.
Okay, so that's a very recent phenomenon then. All right.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, okay.
How do you think that happened? Is it like a monetization of music?
I think I'm not really sure, actually. I'm not really sure how it happened. I feel like this is how Western art music kind of developed. Yeah. And also like it's really interesting because even when you look at like classical music, like back in like the 1600s and 1700s, which was like only 400, 300 years ago, like people would go to these concerts, but they could talk, they could eat, and yeah, exactly. It is very much like a social environment. So it was only from like the 1800s onwards that people had the idea of, no, you sit down, you cannot talk, you cannot clap out of time, and you just watch the performer. And that's lasted until today. But yeah, it's only been 200 years, but it's such an intimidating experience though if you're an outsider who has never experienced classical music before, but then you kind of walk into that environment, it would feel really intimidating, and it just feels like it's not really inviting. Yeah.
It sounds so scary now.
Yeah, it does. I remember reading a paper on this the other day. It was talking about how people are unwilling to kind of explore a new musical genre because they feel like they don't know enough, they don't know how to act, they don't know, they feel like they're inadequate compared to the rest of the concert goers who had been there for a very long time and knew what was happening. And for me, I was kind of like, oh, but that's not the point. Like the whole point of music is like, sure, it is a group experience, but also for me, a big part of it is I love the individual side of it. So like you could watch the same piece of music and get a completely different response from two different people. So I think for me, that's something that I really like to kind of like remind people when I go to concerts with them, to go like, you don't have to agree with everything I say, and that's like totally okay. And move your arm a little bit as well. And also, if you were dancing with a Latino guy, they would be like, oh, move your hips as well.
Oh, okay.
So there's just a lot of moving. Okay.
I'm kind of missing steps now, but yeah, sure.
Okay, sure. Can I let you do it without? Okay, yeah, sure. Can you just watch it just to make sure you can do it without me?
Yeah. So 1, 2, 3.
Mm-hmm.
I think if I concentrate, I'm okay. But I need to concentrate. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is like. Hey guys, thanks for hanging with us today on the Convo Couch. Thank you for Jessie for coming along.
No worries.
And, yeah, don't forget to subscribe and check out the links below.
All right, guys. So if you could follow, cut, comment, it'll be awesome. So we're really passionate about kind of exposing diverse voices, diverse interests in music as well, and we're all about like people who are very much from the ground up in music.
That's excellent. And is any kind of work that you wanted to promote, or is that?
Ooh, do I want to promote? Oh, okay. I mean, I can promote my like charity if you want.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So on your time.
All right, and also if you could follow Mostly Mad Music on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, we're on all the social media. So we have a festival called In Harmony Festival coming up in October in time for Mental Health Month. And so what we'll be doing a lot of is to bring music outside of the concert hall and kind of just out onto the streets. And yeah, for anyone who enjoys music, really.